For many years, fan art has been subject to all sorts of art styles, and with that includes changing the color of characters' skin. This is a common occurrence in the West, such as with Japanese anime characters. Some like it, some don't, but criticism usually dies off and is contained within the Western fandom. But no longer. This time a famous Japanese artist was harassed, and it has touched everyone, from your typical Twitter artists, to Japanese anime fans, to even official voice actors. There is a new war online.
Black is node.
So I was on Twitter and I saw this super viral fan art. I'm talking like over 100,000 likes of this character called Marina from Splatoon. I noticed the artist was Okawa Bukubu, the creator of Pop Team Epic. Not the most popular thing, but it certainly has its fans, even getting an anime adaptation with multiple seasons. So Bukubu is quite the accomplished artist. But despite his fame, he was still subject to the wrath of Twitter. You had the art fixers, you had the why are you white, you had the kill this guy in Minecraft. Now what warranted all this negative attention from these Westerners? We know why, but to the Japanese this might have been a mystery. Look at the summary from this Japanese Twitter account with almost 3 million followers. Bukubu Okawa, the manga artist known for Pop Team Epic, has uploaded a Splatoon illustration. The illustration is of a black-themed character named Lita Marine. She has been criticized overseas for, "Why did you lighten her skin color? Correction. It's racism against black people. Angry face." Mr. Okawa apologizes. I couldn't find out what triggered the harassment campaign, but Japanese Twitter was onto the culprit. They said, "The account, Nutmeg Knight, that burned this Lita painting, calling it whitewashing, locked itself and ran away. Lol. He's an arsonist and a coward. He's really crazy." Japanese users notice the equivalent of pronouns in bio. Read it and you'll understand. I mean, looking at this, wear mask, pronouns, cis, bi, like what is even going on here? Like, first of all, are they talking about wearing masks because of the pandemic or what? Because even in Japan, they're not wearing masks anymore. So this person they have something going on. Looking further at their profile on Card, I noticed they may lack the proper mental facilities for logical thinking. Looking further on their profile, they have this don't follow list, aka stuff that they're essentially moral policing, which ironically, they're against police themselves. I mean, they got this huge list. At this point, I'm wondering, what do they even like? Apparently, they're against things like, you like Attack on Titan, you like Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Oreimo, or anything by the same author, which I'm assuming means Ero Manga Sensei. Well, I like all three, so I guess I made the cut. At this point, I'm thinking if you like anything on this list, you get a badge of honor, because look at this crazy stuff. They're against the racism of... Wait, no, they're against the... So they are for the racism of white people, essentially. Which makes a lot of sense when you see their tweet that criticized Bukubu. Why did you lighten her skin color? The eyedropper tool exists. There's something about these fans of these magical girls, these maho shoujo like Precure, or these like idol shows like Aikatsu, Pretty Parade, Pretty Rhythm, whatever. Like I think that's their profile picture. Idol Master, no, not Idol Master, but like Project Sekai, etc. There's something about these people that, like, I don't mean to make a blanket statement saying all of them are like that. I know in my last video, some people got mad because I was saying that about the shonen fans, but I'm just making a broad generalization based on some patterns I've observed, which is allowed, right? So these fans, you know, they're generally girls, or I guess girls, and they certainly skew a certain way. So they might share some similarities with the shonen fans, but they're completely different. The shonen fans, they be like, I ain't watching none of this. Shit is zesty as fuck, bro. What's funny is this situation started with a white, liberal, very progressive woman, and it got black people in the crosshairs. These people might be the most offensive people, like even more so than the most racist person you could think up of. That person might just say it straight to your face, but these people, they're gonna go about things in such a roundabout way that they're gonna cause all sorts of communication issues and inevitably cause some type of conflict. If you're black, these people are not your friends. Take a look at this study. White liberals present themselves as less competent in interactions with African Americans. A new study suggests that white Americans who hold liberal socio-political views use language that makes them appear less competent in an effort to get along with racial minorities. You hear that? They treat you like idiots. They treat you like a baby. We're going to be seeing some of this absolute disrespect throughout this video. The situation spiraled out of control when the official Japanese voice actress for the character herself, Alice Peralta, made a statement appreciating the artwork, saying it's insanely cute and thank you, Bukubu-san. The fandom was very disappointed, to say the least. There's something about Nintendo fans and to a certain extent Sonic fans that, how do I put this? They're a bit woke. These liberals behave the same way in that study, essentially treating Alice Peralta like a baby, removing any type of human agency from her, believing her to be incapable of making her own type of logical reasoning. They're like, no, Alice, no, White Marina is bad. And then they're like, yeah, she's an octopus, but do you know what else she is along with every other Inkling octopus? A human. They're all part human. They literally have human DNA. Can you literally shut up? Did you really think that Alice Peralta, the voice actress for the actual character herself from Splatoon, did not know this information? And then you got those people telling Bukubu about eyedropper tool and shading and coloring and all that stuff. Like, where's your Pop Team Epic? Where's your anime? Like, get real. But of course, they'll still want to teach this. They'll still want to educate these Japanese creators on racism and colorism and the detrimental effects of slavery and all that stuff, just for, coloring a character a little bit lighter. But here's the thing, even though Japan, yes, they had slavery and all that stuff, and I'm sure maybe the slaves were darker, probably due to the fact that they worked outside more, but maybe that's the part of the colorism or whatever. But the point is, like, even if this was like based on some racist stuff, like those characters, those characters like Akira Toriyama Dragon Ball Z's Mr. Popo, and Eiichiro Oda's One Piece has what's his name, Usopp. Even if those characters are based off of, a lot of these liberals will be like, oh, well, that's based off of a racist depiction of a black person from Jim Crow era minstrel shows. These racist caricatures. Is that what you call it? Caricatures? I'm just going to call it caricatures. They're literally going to say stuff like that, right? But let's just, sure, maybe they were based on those, like, that time period, right? That doesn't mean they were intentionally racist, okay? Like, if you think Akira Toriyama is racist, wouldn't you think that he'd make Mr. Popo evil and have like an island full of Mr. Popos and then have Goku turn Super Saiyan and like Kamehameha them all to death? Like, that's literally what he would do if you were racist, right? But that's not what happens. They're not making these into some type of like racist comic. They're just character designs for their story. And Mr. Popo happens to be a good guy. And same with Usopp, who's actually a protagonist, a main character. If they were really against that, they wouldn't make him a main character. You know what I mean? They wouldn't make him a good guy. Anyways, back to the situation. So Alice Peralta this time posts in English that, if it looks good, it looks good. And who cares about skin color? Because these octopuses, they can change their color. And she further clarifies that she herself is a mixed race person. Latte color Galdiva. But despite her very common sense reasoning, Twitter must have harassed her because she deleted this tweet in English as well as the one in Japanese. To Splatoon fans, this was their 9/11. Even Nintendo's official artwork has colors of lighter shades, which by these woke Westerners' logic, Nintendo has whitewashed them, which honestly, a lot of them do think like that. All right, so enough about the Westerners. Let's go back to the Japanese. So Bukuba made a response to his now very viral fan art. He said he received a response saying this was racist against black people because the character's skin is lighter than the original, and he acknowledges that Marina would be black, but he also apologizes that his coloring skills are poor, so it's not accurate. Japanese people felt that this apology was unnecessary, and this started a new conflict. In response to the apology, don't worry, they're doing it too. The Japanese had found out about black edits. With over 41,000 likes at the time of recording, they pointed out the double standards, the absolute hypocrisy. If one type of art was not allowed, almost canceled for being just a little bit lighter, how come some other types of drawings were supported, in fact encouraged, for being multiple shades darker? Seeing these double standards, Japan snapped back. Take a look at these comments with thousands in agreement. Black people can't create, only plagiarize. Clearly racist to Japanese people. Same mentality of slaves. Black people look down on Japanese people. I can't comment on all of these. If I did, I'd be here all day. But speaking about all day, if you made it this far in the video, just hit that subscribe button. I'm only like 10 away from 3K, so just do it. To summarize my thoughts, I do believe there is some truth to these statements. I think there is victim mentality in the black community, and I did see plenty of tweets from presumably black individuals looking down on Japanese people. Looking down can be something as simple as accusing the Japanese of not knowing about the eyedropper tool, which the Japanese criticized in a tweet with over 113,000 likes about having to match the RGB color perfectly. In the comments they state, "Don't apologize. You'll be admitting to whitewashing. There are other foreigners defending Bukubu." You know, any normal person looking at this would defend Bukubu, or anyone that isn't a straight up left curve. Hey, I'm just glad the Japanese can recognize the differences between some gaijins, because we definitely don't want to be associated with all of them. They pointed out the double standard with Brazilian Miku, but the thing about Brazilian Miku was that there was even controversy then, where there was a pale gothic art style one where people wanted her to be darker. But the thing is, there are white people in Brazil. If Japanese people knew about all these controversies earlier, maybe they might be a little bit more accepting, or maybe they'll just be more angry. I don't know. What do you guys think? More accepting or more angry? Not only did the Japanese criticize the hypocrisy of the magical eyedropper tool, they memed the woke Westerners' understanding of lighting conditions with this picture of Donald Trump. In this tweet with over 42,000 likes, racism against blacks is a white person's problem, so don't drag unrelated Japanese people into it. If you want to do atonement, then do it between white people and black people. Octopuses have the ability to change the color of their bodies. Study National Geographic and try again. Absolutely based. Study that. These people, they need to learn. I'm sure there's some mistranslation, but, you know, they mention about the racism, like the black, the whites problem, etc. Here's the thing. I don't even think this is a problem. Right? If you think this is like racism in any way or form, you think this is a problem, then you have no problems. Like, you really think there's a problem about changing the skin color of a fictional octopus looking character? You have no problems whatsoever. The next thing they mention is the atonement, which, like I said, might be a mistranslation, but I wanted to point out the thing called reparations, right? So there might be like history in the United States of black people being discriminated against, and then basically because of history we need to do something now to reverse it, to like promote them in such a way to reverse things. But I think we live in the 21st century right now. If you want to do something, if you want to be something, you can do that yourself, right? You want to be a doctor, be a doctor. You want to be an NBA star, go be an NBA player. You want to, ball, you know ball. You know what I mean? Ball up top. Okay. You guys don't know what that means. If you don't know what I mean is we're not living in the ancient times. We're not living in the 1000s, the 1200s, the 1600s, the 1800s, the 19. We're living in the 2024s, okay? Not everyone can be a doctor, engineer, lawyer, NBA player, whatever. But the point being is you can't just pull up the victim mentality, the race card or whatever, whenever faced with some type of issue, okay? Like, come on. Anyways, and then speaking about reparations, okay, this is, you know, a lot of people say I shouldn't be talking about these types of things, and they say like I yap too much or whatever, but you know what, whatever. It's already this late in the video. If you're already here, you might as well just listen. So about reparations and all that, I don't believe it. Basically, it already is done if there is any, because look at DEI, affirmative action, all that stuff. Who are the primary beneficiaries? Humanitarian aid to certain countries, who are the primary beneficiaries, and all of these things, food stamps, unemployment benefits, who are the primary beneficiaries, who has to take the tax burden. I think reparations have been well done. Anyways, this is when I get canceled, so let's move on. Actually, I still wanted to talk one more thing on this. So a while ago, there was this like galaxy gas trend, this whippets, whatever you want to call it. And well, the primary people that seemed like going viral for this were black people. This isn't racist, it was just true. It was a thing that a lot of people did a long time ago. It's not like a new drug, but the ones that seemed to be popularizing it on social media was blacks. Now, I was gonna make a video on this, but I went to search it up, right? But the videos that I was gonna react to have been long deleted. So there was the guy who originally like popularized this, who basically he takes a whiff of this stuff at like he's about to grab some chicken wings. He takes a whiff of his gas, and then he's like, "Yo, my name is Sean," or Big Sean. Okay, no, that's not what he says. I forgot what he says, but he like eats the wing and then he puts it back on the plate, and that's like the viral one. There was literally an interview with that guy, and in the interview in his own house, he literally had a baby crying in the background. That there were some life decisions that led him to that mess. Oh, and then he was also arrested. He was in jail. Apparently, he was in jail when the video was going viral. If you guys know what interview I'm talking about, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. I'm not lying. This is actually what happened. And then there was another video where this was also deleted, where it was like a Mr. Beast style video. It was like, first to leave the circle gets galaxy gas. Okay, not really. But it was like, if you try galaxy gas, you get $100. Something like that. This wasn't Mr. Beast, of course. This was like the black Mr. Beast. And it wasn't like, it wasn't like super big, like over 1 million subscribers. I want to say like I want to say it was like over 500,000 subscribers, maybe like 800,000, something in that range. But yeah, the video got taken down. A lot of people criticized them in the comments. But yeah, I was actually gonna make a video on this, but I didn't because it was a little out of my niche. But the point being is, no white man was forcing them to do this stuff. This type of the socioeconomic conditions that led them to do this stuff, sure, it might have existed, but the decision themselves to inhale this or whatever, that's on them. I'm sure a lot of people of all colors fell victim to this, nuking their IQs or whatnot, but the primary people recording themselves in the act and uploading it on social media and thus spreading it to other people was, let's face it, African Americans. So some people may do it, but they may do a lot of degenerate things. Human beings, a lot of them are vile people. Maybe I do some things that are bad, but I'm not going to promote things. Even if I say something here, I might cut it out, right? Of course. But some people have a culture of promoting degeneracy. Anyways, we're going to leave it at that and move on to this Japanese user who translated it in English. You people are in the habit of altering Ariel and Tinkerbell to be black, but you are offended when dark-skinned characters have a slightly different skin color. Please don't ever watch Japanese games or anime again. Now, Ariel, that is about the live-action Little Mermaid remake by Disney. And then Tinkerbell, that's news to me. See, there's so many of these characters getting race-swapped, essentially blackwash, whatever you want to call it. But remember that other tweet about the Japanese person saying about how black people plagiarize? That might have been a mistranslation, but this is essentially what they mean, in my opinion. Like, they could create original characters, but essentially what they do is this is what happens. Now, there's something about this, okay? Like, I want to say, like, when you do this backlash and then having a creator like Bukubu apologize, a lot of these people, when changes happen to video games or anime or whatever, a lot of people, this is kind of not related, but they'll be like, oh, this isn't censorship, like the Dragon Quest thing. They're like, this isn't censorship. Well, don't you think that seeing a lot of this backlash and this type of thing happening on social media to the point where they have to apologize, that would affect someone's mentality for sure. And in an effort to reduce this, there could be self-censorship. To think that this would not be the case is very naive. Remember, Japanese is a practically 99.9999% ethnic Japanese population. Black people are already overrepresented. Just look at this example with Marina from Splatoon here. I mean, even in this anime season, you got Bleach with all sorts of skin colors. You had My Hero Academia, and I'm not talking about Mina Ashido. Of course, we're not talking about her. But so many characters with darker skin colors. Like, I'm just thinking, like Revolutionary Girl Utena, Gundam, Fire Force, Code Geass. Obviously, not all of these are characters that are specifically supposed to be African American or whatnot, but they are of darker skin colors. The point is, you have so much diversity in your characters. The fact that I can remember some of these. Okay, so my favorite anime are things like Hidamari Sketch, Keion, Kisoku Bochi the Rock, Nanan Biori, Arya, Sora Yori, Place Further in the Universe, etc. I don't really see many blacks in my anime. Just that the fact that I remember so many is a testament to the diversity that is coming out of Japan. Like, look, I'm even remembering not even just Japan, but like Karen from Blue Archive. Carol and Tuesday. Now I'm remembering her. But the point is, like, you know that saying, the hand that feeds you or whatever? Because Japan is feeding you some prime, some peak right now, okay? And remember, Revolutionary Girl Utano was created in the 90s. So you still accuse them of being racist to this day when they've created these mediums and they've created these depictions like Sailor Moon having gay people and whatnot. And when at a time when the West was less reluctant more reluctant to these things. Like, come on, get real now. Go back to your Western slop Owl House or whatever, Steven Universe, and take this guy's advice. Please don't ever watch Japanese games or anime again, because you are a tourist, and we need to get rid of the tourists. There's even records of interviews from directors saying that they've received demands to change the shape of black characters' noses and whatnot, essentially making demands to change the industry. These people, they need to be purged from the anime industry because they seek to create change. These are tourists. Anyways, this was a Miover video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below, and peace out.